Well, we just finished up an incredible evening with Jovan Pulitzer sharing so much information. And one of his key points was that, you know, he did the work to expose it, but we all collectively need to be the ones holding things accountable so that we can stop this election fraud. Josh Barnett, running for Congress, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Tell me a little bit about, you were a huge part in making this night happen. Tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are after seeing the whole presentation.
Well, I want to thank you and Real America's Voice for being here, because without the people hearing this information, it doesn't do any good for us to talk in our echo chamber. The people need to see and hear what's happening. And, you know, I think the most important thing that Jovan, I've had this information for a long time, and it's hard to have all this information when it's not being put out. The Attorney General's not doing anything about it. He has all the information. And with the counterfeit ballots, with the dead voters, you know, all that stuff you hear. But when you see the numbers that were put up tonight, and to see nothing being done about it, it is extremely frustrating. And not only that, there's other constitutional things that happened in this election that I didn't get a chance to talk about before the fire alarm went off. But in Arizona, we have Article 14, Section 18. But we talk about the Zuckerbucks that came in, right, in Wisconsin and here and everywhere else. And in that, in our Constitution, Article 14, Section 18, I'm going to paraphrase, but it says, no one can basically give money to sway an election. And that's exactly what Zuckerberg was doing. And nothing has happened. Nothing has been held. No, there's zero accountability. And we talk about this uniparty that people talk about. We talk about maybe them flipping, yeah, we'll give the Republicans a little bit here, we'll do the Democrats here. And all the anti-Trumpers, the never-Trumpers that didn't want him back in office, probably collaborated or were complicit in what happened. That's what I believe. And it's up to us, the people, to fight back. And that's what we were doing with the affidavits. Every affidavit we sent in with the election integrity, with Adele, set me up down at MTech, wrote the affidavits to make sure that Colonel Waldron and Jovan Pulitzer's work was involved, because I knew Jovan had the ability and the technology to do what he just showed us tonight. And then obviously they got Doug Logan in and went through the machines and everything else. But for me, the fraud was always in the paper. And Sharpie Gate was real. Sharpie Gate was forced adjudication. They tried to gaslight us. And the people were waking up. I mean, it's common sense. You don't use the proper stock paper, use cheap paper, it bleeds right through. We have to adjudicate. The adjudication rates are off the charts.
What was it, 17 votes per ballot? Yes. Went because of the Sharpie?
Yes.
So
right.
So one ballot was counting 17 times?
Yeah, so they had, you know, the down ballot, so it was all bleeding through everywhere. And so you went from, like I think you said, 1 in 100 from years ago to 1 of every 50, and then 1 out of 8 was adjudicated, either by AI and or human, probably mostly AI right now. But it's an absurd amount, it's an absurd number, and he has more data that Brnovich has. He has all this information, and he's not doing anything with it. And, you know, thank goodness we're going to have a new Attorney General, we're going to have a new governor, we're going to have a new Secretary of State. And I guarantee you, when those 3 people get in office, guess what? Fraud vitiates anything. Crime vitiates anything. There's no time frame on it. They're going to get held accountable. Anybody that was complicit with what was going on, Hobbs, Fontes, maybe Stephen Richer, I don't know. But these people, if they're complicit, they need to be held accountable. Absolutely. That is the one thing that's missing in this country is equal justice. And not only that, but just accountability in general. Unfortunately, right now, they're being weaponized against conservatives and what we're doing. But when we take back control, it's payback time. And not in the sense that we're just going to make things up and come after you. We're going to hold you accountable for the things that you did. And that's what needs to happen.
Josh, tell everybody where they can follow your campaign. Primaries are coming up in August, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
Tell everybody where they can support you and learn more about your campaign.
Yes, I'm running for U.S. Congress here in District 1 in Arizona. You can reach me at barnettforaz.com, BARNETTFORAZ.com, Barnett for AZ on Twitter, and almost every single social media site I have, we were talking about earlier. You can reach me there. Feel free to reach out, email me if you have questions. You know, I've been battling this election front for a long time now, not only here, but in Wisconsin, with Amanda Chase in Virginia, Candace Taylor in Georgia, Matt DePerno, Bill Bailey in Michigan. I've been doing a lot of this stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. And you know, I'm hoping that President Trump and his team was watching tonight and seeing even more evidence on top of what we already have, which is more than enough. but I hope they saw it, and I hope they run with it, and we can apply more pressure for these people to do the right thing.
You know, it was interesting when I was talking to Liz Harris just a little bit ago, and we were talking about that very thing. Is that, you know, what we saw tonight happen from Maricopa County is exactly what I've been hearing about happening in Georgia, in Michigan, as I'm on the ground talking with everybody involved in the election workers and in clerks' offices. So what it's really important for everyone to understand is, although tonight was about exposing what happened in Maricopa, these were the same strategies that were used in all of the swing states, probably all of the states, but we're just focusing mostly on the swing states. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It was a blueprint. And I've been working at Tim Rantham up in Wisconsin for a long time now, and they've got a lot of exposure. We expose a lot there, just even from a constitutional standpoint. When you got their Speaker Voss is like our Rusty Bowers, you know what I mean? Or, you know, so it's an uphill battle, but they've been exposing it for a long time. You know, Matt DePerno was exposing it in Michigan. 10,000 affidavits from the people. We wrote those affidavits. Matt, you know, in the 10,000 that Lindell dropped off in Georgia, David Jose and I wrote those affidavits. So the people are aware, the people know what's going on. And by the way, guys, when an affidavit's not responded to, it's held up as true. And it can be used later on in a grand jury of the people, and the people will decide. So we're working on that end as well. We're not going to let them get away with it.
It's really encouraging to hear so much is going on behind the scenes, that it's not making the headlines, it's not on the news, and I think that that's the big message, is that tonight was a hard pill to swallow for so many of us, but there's hope in this, is that now we can learn from this and make changes for the future. Josh, thank you so much, and thank you for all that you've done for this country.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
God bless
Thank
you.
you.